Pay attention to this question for Ale Moreno.
For Ale, given the current squads, who's winning La Liga, Real Madrid or Barcelona?
Well, and I think it's something that Stevie alluded to in the show, is that it feels like Real Madrid is taking steps forwards and Barcelona is taking steps backwards, and now you can start building an argument that Real Madrid seem far more settled than Barcelona do. And it's not something that I would have said coming into the season, but given what Barcelona don't have as of right now, and their main piece is Julian Alvarez, they still don't have Rodri. It's a conversation, but it still hasn't happened as of now.
Guess who he thinks is going to win La Liga this season? Barcelona? Nope, wrong. He's convinced it's going to be Real Madrid, thanks to their new signings and, of course, the influence of Jose Mourinho.
So where we sit right now, it feels like Real Madrid has an advantage over Barcelona going into the season. I'm not sure that that's going to last, but that's what the question says, right? That's that full disclosure. Yeah. That's a disclaimer.
In the current squads.
The current squads. I'm saying Real Madrid.
But Stevie wasn't going to let Moreno get carried away with his dreams. He called Ale out and brought him back down to earth, reminding him of the challenge of facing an unstoppable Barcelona side. Live on air, Stevie left Moreno with no answer by using Kylian Mbappe's arrival at Real Madrid as an example. Mbappe was presented by many as the team's great savior, and we all know how that story turned out. Now check out what Stevie had to say about the idea that Real Madrid are going to win La Liga against this Barcelona side.
A word of caution though. If you remember, we all said the same thing when they signed Mbappe. Right, it seems like Real Madrid have got themselves right in a good position. Signed Mbappe, there was a couple of others, and we were like, wow, this is Real Madrid. And then guess what happened? A bit like Liverpool as well. We sat here last year going, oh, Liverpool, we've just signed Isak and this guy and that guy. And then, so, just a little word of caution.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the disclaimer of the question is right now.
Right now, yeah.
Right now. It doesn't mean that when we go to select who's going to win the league, I'm going to say Real Madrid. But where we are right now, Real Madrid are building a very strong argument.
Go ahead, Don.
I just can't believe when Gemma was on before and we were chatting, potential plan Bs. The best number 9 that I think that's out there that would fit Barcelona's style is João Pedro from Chelsea. I cannot believe that he hasn't been linked. Lautaro Martinez is another one from Inter who I think might be a plan B, but João Pedro, to me, he looks like he plays for Barca. He could be incredible for them.
I think he'd been linked, but the new contract put paid to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Don, but Chelsea couldn't let him go. Otherwise, they would be up a gum tree.
Real Madrid spent the summer trying to rebuild the squad, but here's the painful question for Madrid fans. Did they actually fix the problems Barcelona exposed in the past few seasons? Barcelona are the current La Liga champions, and the most recent Clásico ended in a 2-0 win for Barca on May 10, 2026. That result was no fluke. Barca have now won 14 of the last 30 official Clásicos, compared with 13 wins for Real Madrid, and they have scored 59 goals in those games, compared with 52 for Madrid. Real Madrid responded with 6 major signings, along with Mourinho. But every signing comes with a question mark, and Barcelona have plenty of reasons to believe this new Real Madrid can still be beaten. Diomande is the most eye-catching signing. Real Madrid reportedly paid €125 million upfront, with another €15 million potentially available in bonuses. His former coach describes him as a good option for receiving passes from midfield, while Madrid see him as a versatile attacker who can play alongside Vinicius and Mbappe. And that's exactly where the problem starts. Real Madrid didn't necessarily need another attacker in Vinicius' position. What they needed was a more balanced team. Diomande now joins an attack that already includes Mbappe and Vini. All three want to cause damage in the final third, but Mourinho's challenge will be finding the right balance behind them. Barcelona's strength is precisely their pressing and positioning system, which can force even the best attackers to defend, track back, and make decisions under pressure. Will Diomande play on the right wing? He is more effective at taking on defenders in the area where Vini usually operates, while Vini isn't really suited to playing as a right winger. Spending $125 million on another attacker doesn't automatically solve the midfield problem created by the departures of Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. Many experts see midfield as a major area of concern for Madrid after those departures. What happens when Real Madrid's attacking stars can't attack or defend? Cucurella is Real Madrid's best signing. He brings energy, aggression, and experience. But for Barcelona, there is an obvious way to exploit him. make him defend all game. Against Barca's positional play, the left-back can't just think about pushing forward and providing width. He'll also have to deal with Barcelona's movement, position swaps, and one-on-one situations. Lamine Yamal alone can turn any fullback's life into a nightmare, especially when Barcelona manages to isolate him in attacking situations. Karim Adeyemi also has the pace to cause serious problems. If Cucurella pushes forward, who is going to cover the huge space he leaves behind? Konate, Don Huijsen, Antonio Rudiger, Eder Militao. That matters because Madrid already has a tactical problem on the other side. Denzel Dumfries has arrived, while Trent Alexander-Arnold is also competing for the right-back spot, with Madrid experimenting with Trent in a deeper midfield role. In other words, Madrid have improved the individual quality of their fullback positions without necessarily fixing the overall defensive structure. And I feel they'll still have a lot of problems with that collective defensive structure. SB is an interesting long-term project. Real Madrid confirmed his signing from Levante on July 30th, giving the 21-year-old a contract until 2031. He scored 20 goals in 66 appearances for Levante and was named the league's best under-23 player last season. But this is the kind of signing that could turn into an excellent investment over several seasons. The problem for Madrid is that the challenge is immediate. Barcelona and Atletico Madrid aren't going to wait around for SB to develop. The Barca already have a well-established attacking structure built around players like Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Dani Olmo, and their other experienced forwards. Flick's team is heading into the 2026-27 season, built around a core that includes Yamal, Olmo, Pedri, and Pau Cubarsí, who could even become a Ballon d'Or contender after his spectacular defensive performance at the World Cup. SB could become a star in the future. But expecting a 21-year-old player to make the difference against Barcelona right now is a completely different story. Dumfries is a smart signing when you look at it on its own. However, it creates another tactical problem. Madrid now have Dumfries, Alexander-Arnold, and other options competing for space on the right. Mourinho has already been experimenting with different formations to fit them all in. Every tactical compromise can be dangerous. Dumfries wants to attack the space. Trent wants the ball. Vinicius wants to attack down the left. Mbappe likes to operate through the middle and on the left. Jude Bellingham likes to make runs from deep. Who is actually going to protect the spaces between these players when Barcelona win the ball back? Or when another fast-paced La Liga team does the same? That is exactly the kind of transition where Madrid could be punished. Bernardo Silva is probably the most technically sophisticated signing Madrid have made. But Barcelona could turn Bernardo's arrival into an argument against Madrid themselves. Why? Because Bernardo is brilliant when he is part of a functioning possession-based system. Madrid don't really have a clear possession identity when they play against elite teams. Mourinho is putting together a much more complicated puzzle, one in which Bernardo will have to coexist with Valverde, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Bellingham, and Arda Güler. There are a lot of people fighting for influence in midfield. Meanwhile, Madrid's basic problem remains. Who is going to replace the control they used to get from Kroos and Modric? Bernardo helps, but he's not Kroos. He's not a defensive midfielder, and he can't fix the team's balance on his own. Mourinho has already called him a tired, lazy player who is out of form. Of course, his internal problems will still cause plenty of noise, with Mourinho leaving Bernardo Silva on the bench on many occasions. You signed Bernardo Silva, but did you really rebuild the midfield? Bernardo looks tired, and we're not going to see the World Cup version of Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid. Tchouaméni's influence has become questionable lately, and his relationship with Valverde could still create tension after those punches they exchanged. Arda Güler is probably the best option they have on the pitch because of his vision and ability to read the game. But over the last few years, he has lost confidence in himself after spending the last 2 seasons warming the bench at Real Madrid. I can't remember a game where he played the full 90 minutes. He can start as a starter, but he never plays the full game, and that has left him frustrated. Now, several media outlets are saying that he could leave Real Madrid. Rodrigo has become an injury-prone player who can no longer make those game-changing sprints. If he stays, he'll be competing for a spot with Vini and Diomande, but I believe Madrid will sell him. Konate can be physically dominant and still struggle when his team is forced to defend huge spaces against the opponent's movement. And you already know Konate is one of Madrid's worst signings. Konate was heavily criticized at Liverpool, and the fans were basically thanking Real Madrid for taking him off their hands. He has a lot of defensive weaknesses that we'll see exposed in La Liga against the smaller teams. Just imagine what will happen against the big ones. And that brings us back to the midfield and the pressing structure. The biggest problem? Mourinho. This is where the argument in favor of Barcelona becomes even stronger. Mourinho is a legendary manager, but bringing him back is also a huge gamble. Reuters described the appointment as a nostalgic but risky choice, pointing out that Madrid are coming off 2 seasons without winning a trophy. Mourinho has already started experimenting with a 4-2-3-1, different fullback combinations, and alternative midfield setups. That means Madrid are still trying to solve some basic structural issues, while Barcelona are heading into the season with the advantage of continuity under Flick. And continuity matters. Barcelona knows how it wants to press. They know where their midfielders want to receive the ball. They know how Yamal and the other attackers create numerical advantages. Madrid are still trying to figure out the best way to bring all these new pieces together. That's exactly why Moreno should be worried about Mourinho coming in, rather than celebrating it. And then there's Kylian Mbappe. He's a world-class player. No one needs to pretend otherwise. But making Mbappe the centerpiece of the argument for Madrid winning La Liga ignores the bigger issue. Barcelona doesn't need to stop Mbappe individually. They need to stop Real Madrid as a team. When opponents deny space in behind the defense, Mbappe has less room to exploit. When Barcelona force Madrid to play through slow, controlled possession, their biggest weapon, Mbappe's devastating acceleration into open space, becomes less decisive. And the partnership between Mbappe and Vini raises another obvious question. Both are at their most dangerous on the left side and in the inside channels. Madrid can make the two of them work together, but that requires exceptional positional discipline from everyone around them. That's very different from simply putting 2 superstars on the same team. Then there's the issue of who gets to be the main man. So far, Vini hasn't accepted that Mbappe is the one calling the shots at Real Madrid, the team's boss and leader. He pushed hard enough to get his salary up to, or close to, Mbappe's level. But does Vini have other demands when it comes to his role and status in this new contract? That's what we'll find out once La Liga gets underway. And we know this kind of power struggle can become a problem. Bellingham is still a fantastic player, but Madrid increasingly need him to be everything at once. Midfielder, creator, runner, goal scorer, and the link between all the attacking stars. That's an impossible workload. We can expect Mourinho to move Bellingham back into a more advanced midfield role while he continues experimenting with the players behind him. We should actually like that, because the more Madrid rely on Bellingham to solve their problems, the more intelligent teams can attack the spaces he leaves behind. Real Madrid have a lot of players who may be psychologically shaken, because football isn't just about technique and tactics. It's psychological too. Going 2 years without winning a trophy is embarrassing, and the players feel that pressure themselves. Even more so at a club that takes so much pride in its Champions League success, and now has to deal with the pressure of expectations and recent results. But finally, that huge trophy that became a worldwide meme arrived after 2 trophyless years. Congratulations, Real Madrid. Barcelona's players, on the other hand, are in a good place mentally. Before the May Clásico, Dani Olmo said that Barca would win the title against their biggest rivals. And that's exactly what happened. Barcelona beat Real Madrid 2-0 at Camp Nou, with goals from Rashford and Ferran Torres. So the players' confidence isn't just talk. They've already proved on the pitch that they can beat Madrid. And there's one final piece that could make things even more painful for Madrid. Rodri could join Barcelona at any moment. The transfer window is open. We can buy players, we can sell players, anything can happen. I just saw Rodri. I gave him a big hug. He looks good. We'll see what happens, said the Manchester City manager. Rodri has returned to normal training with Manchester City, but that doesn't mean a potential transfer is off the table. Meanwhile, Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain have reached an agreement for Ferran Torres for around 50 million euros, with the deal expected to be officially confirmed in the coming days. The sale is seen as a positive move for Barca, who will make a net profit and also save 8 million euros they would have had to pay Manchester City if the player renewed his contract. Now, that departure could pave the way for Rodri's arrival. Madrid could lose the race for the midfielder who could help them replace the control they lost after Kroos and Modric. Barcelona, meanwhile, could sign one of the best controlling midfielders in the world at exactly the moment Madrid are trying to solve their own problems in that position. This wouldn't just make Barcelona stronger, it would make Barcelona stronger while potentially limiting Real Madrid's potential. Madrid have spent a lot of money on talent, but there are still questions about midfield control, tactical balance, defensive transitions, attacking roles, and how Mourinho's system will fit into a star-studded squad. Barcelona has something Madrid can't buy overnight: a working identity. Barcelona could have the better team. And when these two clubs face each other, that difference could be exactly what separates a collection of superstars from a team capable of tearing its opponent apart. Mourinho may have returned to Madrid believing he can restore the old order, but Hansi Flick could send him to the same place where he sent Carlo Ancelotti, Xabi Alonso, and Alvaro Arbeloa. Who will win La Liga?